There's something quietly inspiring about watching someone in their 70s, bright-eyed, active, sharp as a tack, and wondering, what's their secret? Maybe it's a neighbor who still bikes to the store, or your aunt who dances at weddings like she's 25 again. The truth is, people don't just wake up at 70 feeling amazing. That kind of vitality is built slowly, quietly, and deliberately, starting decades earlier. And if you're in your 30s or 40s now, this is the golden window. Right now is when the real groundwork begins. Now, there's something that often gets overlooked when we talk about long-term health, and that's stress. Not just the big, dramatic kind, but the quiet, slow-drip kind that creeps into your daily life. The emails that never end, the bills, the news, the responsibilities that stack up like laundry in the corner. It all adds up. And here's the thing. Your body doesn't know the difference between running from a lion and sitting in traffic while running late. Stress is stress. And if you're constantly living in that state of low-grade tension, your body pays the price. Higher blood pressure, increased inflammation, sleep disruption, hormone imbalances. Over time, it chips away at your vitality. But stress isn't the enemy. It's a signal. And when you start paying attention to it, instead of Banda NOI, hey viet fan con li qua fan 1, ChatGPT do NOI, tuet, Dewey de la fan con li qua fan 1 trong video after 30, build a solid health foundation for your 70s. Duoc viet lean mok voi don ban de kung cap, kong gap mok, kong dung dao muc, ju dung jong ju map, de teep kan va jiao dong luk. And here's the thing. It's not just about physical health. It's about how you feel every day. Do you feel clear-headed, energized, present? Or are you running on fumes, always behind, always tired? These years, the ones you're in right now, are the most powerful time to shift the course. Not through massive overhauls, but through small, steady upgrades. And one of the most important upgrades, one we often brush aside, is learning how to manage stress before it becomes chronic. Not the kind of stress that explodes all at once, but the slow, simmering kind that becomes background noise. The endless to-do lists, the tight shoulders, the mental fog that creeps in after days of nonstop multitasking. If you've ever caught yourself lying in bed, physically exhausted but mentally wide awake, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Stress doesn't just feel bad. It physically changes your body over time. It raises your cortisol levels, messes with your hormones, affects your digestion, and weakens your immune system. And when those stress levels remain high for too long, the consequences show up quietly. High blood pressure, anxiety, stubborn belly fat, insomnia. It becomes harder to bounce back, even from small setbacks. But here's the empowering part. You don't need to quit your job or move to the mountains to lower your stress. You just need to build in moments that give your nervous system a break. A few minutes of deep breathing, a walk without your phone, a moment of silence in the morning before everyone else wakes up. Even pausing to take 3 slow breaths before answering a stressful email can shift your body out of fight or flight and back into calm. Some people find their peace through meditation, others through journaling, gardening, prayer, or even cooking a slow meal. The what doesn't matter as much as the when. Make it a part of your daily rhythm, not just something you do when you're already burnt out. Your future self, the version of you at 70 with calm eyes and a steady heart, will be grateful you learned to rest before your body forced you to. And as we talk about these habits, sleep, movement, nourishment, and emotional balance, there's one more piece of the puzzle we can't ignore. It's connection. Real, meaningful, human connection. As we move through our 30s and 40s, life starts to get busy in a different way. Careers, family, aging parents, bills, it all adds up. And sometimes, friendships fall through the cracks. We tell ourselves we'll catch up next week, or we scroll through people's lives online and mistake it for closeness. But deep connection, laughter, listening, shared moments, isn't optional. It's essential. Studies have shown that loneliness is just as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. That's how powerful our need for connection is. It affects your heart, your brain, your immune system, even how quickly you heal from illness. And yet, many adults find themselves going through the motions with very little emotional support. So, start investing in your social health like you would your physical health. Reach out to someone you've lost touch with. Plan a lunch. Invite someone for a walk. Join a class or group that meets regularly. Not every connection will be deep, and that's okay. But having people you can be real with, who know you beyond the surface, that's the kind of support that holds you up through life's toughest seasons. The truth is, building a strong foundation for your future isn't about hacks or magic pills. It's about tuning in, listening to what your body needs, honoring your limits, moving with purpose, fueling with care, letting yourself rest, and choosing connection over isolation. These choices may seem small in the moment. A glass of water, a short walk, a night of solid sleep. But each one is a brick in the foundation of the life you're building. One that's strong, resilient, full of energy, clarity, and freedom, not just now, but for decades to come. Because when you show up for yourself today, you're not just changing your week. You're shaping your future. Now let's keep going. Now that we've talked about the importance of sleep, movement, nourishment, and emotional balance, let's dive deeper into a few more elements that will help you feel like your best self as you get older. These aren't complicated or expensive changes. They're simple shifts that anyone can make. And as we continue, you'll see how all of this ties back to one fundamental truth. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Let's start with something that is often underestimated: your gut health. If you're like most people, you probably don't think much about your gut unless it's causing you trouble. But here's a fact that might surprise you. Your gut, often referred to as your second brain, plays a massive role in your overall health, including your mood, energy, and even your immune system. By the time we're in our 30s and 40s, our gut health can start to deteriorate, especially if we've had years of poor diet choices, stress, or antibiotics. An unhealthy gut can lead to a variety of issues, from bloating and indigestion to more serious conditions like autoimmune diseases or chronic inflammation. But the good news is that gut health is something you can improve, and it's easier than you think. One of the best things you can do for your gut is to add more fiber-rich foods into your diet. Think whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables, foods that help keep everything moving and provide the fuel for the healthy bacteria in your gut to thrive. And while you're at it, don't forget about probiotics. These little guys are like the good soldiers that defend your gut from harmful bacteria. You can find them in fermented foods like yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, or kefir. But it's not just about adding the right foods. It's also about being mindful of what you're not eating. Things like highly processed foods, excessive sugar, and too much alcohol can throw your gut off balance and create inflammation. So, instead of focusing on restrictions, try adding in more gut-loving foods first. Over time, your digestive system will thank you, and you'll start feeling more energized and less bloated. Another area that's critical to building a solid foundation for your health is your cardiovascular health. If you've been neglecting heart health up until now, don't panic. It's never too late to start taking care of it. Your heart is literally the engine that keeps you going, so it's worth putting in the effort now. One of the easiest and most enjoyable ways to support your heart is through regular cardiovascular exercise. You don't have to become a marathon runner, but simple activities like walking, swimming, cycling, or even dancing can have an incredible impact on your heart health. It's about getting your heart rate up for an extended period of time, and the more consistently you do this, the stronger and more efficient your heart will become. But exercise alone isn't enough. What you eat plays a huge role in heart health too. We've all heard about the dangers of high cholesterol, but did you know that certain foods can actively help lower your cholesterol and protect your heart? Things like oats, leafy greens, nuts, and fatty fish like salmon are packed with nutrients that keep your arteries and your heart strong. Let's talk a little about weight management. I know, the topic can feel a little touchy, especially as we get older and our metabolism starts to slow down. But here's the good news. It's not about achieving a specific number on the scale. It's about feeling comfortable and strong in your own body, no matter your size. As we move into our 30s, muscle mass naturally begins to decline, and with it, our metabolism slows down. That's why strength training becomes even more important. It doesn't matter if you've never picked up a dumbbell before. Just a couple of times a week, you can start to build and maintain muscle. This doesn't mean you need to become a gym rat. You can start with bodyweight exercises like squats, lunges, or push-ups. These movements help maintain muscle, improve posture, and keep your metabolism running at a steady pace. And don't be fooled by the idea that you have to do hours of cardio to lose weight. In fact, Too much cardio can actually have the opposite effect by burning muscle mass along with fat. The key is balance. A mix of strength training, moderate cardio, and flexibility exercises will keep you feeling fit and healthy. Speaking of balance, let's talk about mental health. It's easy to focus on the physical aspects of health and forget about the importance of emotional and mental well-being. But the truth is, they're inseparable. Your mind affects your body, and your body affects your mind. In your 30s and 40s, life can get overwhelming. We juggle careers, family, and sometimes personal challenges. It's easy to push our emotions to the side in order to get things done. But neglecting your mental health can lead to stress, anxiety, and even burnout. Taking care of your emotional health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. This doesn't mean you need to go to therapy, though. If that's something you're interested in, it's a great option. It just means that you need to carve out time for things that help you unwind and relax. Whether it's practicing mindfulness, getting outside in nature, spending time with loved ones, or simply taking a few minutes to journal, the goal is to create space for emotional release. And remember, it's okay to ask for help when you need it. Finally, let's talk about one last, often overlooked element: your mindset. How you think about aging will directly affect how you experience it. If you view aging as something to fear, something that's downhill from here, it will be harder to stay motivated and hopeful. But if you can shift your perspective, if you can embrace aging as an opportunity for growth and wisdom, it changes everything. Think of it this way: aging doesn't have to be a sentence. It can be a chance to be more you, more connected, more relaxed, more alive. Every year brings new experiences, new lessons, and a deeper understanding of who you are. Your 30s and 40s are a time to set that mindset in stone. So, instead of saying, "I'm getting older," try saying, "I'm getting better." Because that's exactly what you're doing. Now that we've covered sleep, movement, nutrition, gut health, and mental well-being, let's take a moment to look at how all of this fits together into a lifestyle that supports your future self. This is where it gets exciting, because we're not just talking about checking off boxes for the sake of checking off boxes. We're talking about creating a life that you love now, while setting yourself up for a future filled with vitality, energy, and joy. And let's not forget the importance of the people you surround yourself with. This might sound like something you've heard a million times, but the people you spend your time with play a huge role in your overall health. Studies show that social connections are linked to better mental health, lower stress, and even longer life expectancy. Now, I'm not saying you need to have a massive social circle, but having a few close, supportive relationships can do wonders for your health. Whether it's a workout buddy, a friend who shares your love of good food, or a family member you can confide in, these connections can be a key factor in how well you age. And let's not forget the power of laughter. Research shows that laughter reduces stress, boosts the immune system, and even helps lower blood pressure. So, whether it's watching a funny movie, sharing silly stories with friends, or just finding the humor in life's challenges, laughter is a simple, free tool that's available to us at any age. Now, let's dive into a really important topic: stress management. In today's fast-paced world, stress is almost inevitable. But it's not the stress itself that harms us. It's how we respond to it. Chronic stress can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, and even affect our sleep and digestion. That's why learning how to manage stress is essential for maintaining long-term health. So, what are some ways you can manage stress on a daily basis? First, you need to find what works for you. Some people love yoga. Others prefer deep breathing exercises, while some people find peace through creative outlets like painting or writing. The key is to find something that calms your mind and helps you reconnect with yourself. Another great tool for managing stress is simply learning to say no. Boundaries are critical for protecting your time and energy. You don't have to say yes to every invitation or obligation that comes your way. In fact, learning to say no can be one of the most empowering things you can do for your mental and physical health. At this point, you might be thinking, "Okay, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do it?" The answer is simple: start small. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the thought of overhauling your entire lifestyle, but you don't need to make drastic changes all at once. Instead, focus on making one small change each week. Maybe this week, you prioritize sleep by turning off your phone 30 minutes earlier. Next week, you add in a 10-minute walk after dinner. Slowly but surely, You'll build these small habits into a routine, and before you know it, you'll have a solid foundation for health that will carry you into your 70s and beyond. And remember, this isn't a race. There will be days when you don't feel like exercising or when you stay up too late. But that's okay. Life happens. The goal is progress, not perfection. Each small step you take is a victory in itself. By focusing on the long game, by making these small but powerful changes, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Your 70s will be a reflection of the choices you make today. So don't wait for a wake-up call. Start building your foundation now. Your future self will thank you. To wrap things up, here's one final piece of advice. Be kind to yourself. Aging isn't about fighting the inevitable. It's about embracing it. It's about finding joy in the journey and knowing that you're doing your best to create a life that supports your future health, happiness, and well-being. So, here's my challenge for you. Pick one thing from today's conversation that you're going to implement this week. Maybe it's a new sleep routine, or taking more time for movement, or finally focusing on what you eat. Whatever it is, make it your priority. Because today is the best time to start building the life and the health you want for the next 30, 40, or 50 years.